G'day golfers, I'm Glen at Aussie Golf Pros, and I'm at the beautiful The Vintage Golf Club. Fantastic venue, beautiful views, and a wonderful golf course in the Hunter Valley. Today we're going to focus on improving your contact with your chipping and clarify when you should and shouldn't use the bounce for these short shots. So when deciding to use the bounce or not, first we need to have a look at the lie and work out whether you're going to strike the ball first or you're actually going to catch some grass before the shot. And that's the critical aspect. Basically what it comes down to is if you know that you're going to hit the ball first and that's your intention, then you need to get that shaft forward, make sure you're hitting down on the ball slightly, and you won't be taking any grass before the ball. That's when you don't really use the bounce, because as you move the shaft forward, that also means that the bounce is reduced. So not worried about what the club is going to do through the turf. We're not trying to glide through the grass. We're just hitting down on it slightly, getting that forward shaft angle and making sure that we hit that turf underneath or even just after the golf ball. We're like a mini compression shot. And the types of lies that you would play that shot from are tight lies like we have here, very firm ground. And when you want to hit that low chip and run shot as well. So a 7-iron, 8-iron chip and run. But you can use this technique for a sand wedge and a lob wedge shot as well. And I'm going to show you that. So let's have a go. We've got a simple little chip here. Now, you've got options. You can land it on the fringe here and just let it roll down. That's what I'm going to start first. I've got an 8-iron here to start with and run it down. And then we're going to try that lofted option and land it on the green. Most of the time we have many options around the greens. So ball position is middle to slightly forward. I'm not into having the ball back. It tends to make it difficult to align to the target. Nice narrow stance, weight forward, and we get that shaft forward. Little chip and run. 8-iron didn't get very high. It's good clean contact, ball first, and then turf. And that's having that shaft forward, and that really helps us to hit the ball and then the turf. If we've got the shaft back here and adding bounce, 8-iron doesn't have a lot of bounce to start with, and it's very easy to bottom out, hit a little bit of grass first and then the ball. You don't want that for this shot. Other shots, yes, but not this one. Let's decide there's some rough ground in the way and you want to land it on the green. Maybe you feel like there's a more consistent bounce landing point on the green. Nothing wrong with that. You've got to choose the shot that works best for you and works best for the condition that you have in front of you. So exactly the same technique here. Narrow stance, ball slightly forward, shaft forward. Now I've got bounce. This is a RTX4, Cleveland RTX4 58-degree wedge, and it's got 9 degrees of bounce. But by moving that shaft forward, that's moved down to basically 0. So again, I've got to make sure I'm hitting the ball first. A little bit longer swing because I'm using more loft and therefore there's a bit more backspin. It's not going to roll as far. So I'm going to land this on the green, exactly the same technique, just a slightly longer swing than the last time. So you can see that's versatility. Same technique, different loft, and therefore a different type of shot that you have at your disposal. As I said, that's good off of firm ground, tight lies. You don't need the bounce because you're actually making sure that you hit the ball first. Technique-wise, it's all about just getting the torso, getting the trunk, turning through. The hands are soft, not gripping the club tightly, not really hinging too much. It's just a case of turn the chest back and through and not collapsing, not helping the ball up in the air. The big mistake that a lot of club golfers make is they try to help it along and they get this big high finish position. That's the most common error I see with these types of shots. The club golfer wants to help the ball up in the air. You need to trust the loft of the club to do the work and turn through. There's no helping. We want to have the backswing and follow through the same length. That really helps you with the tempo, and good tempo is really key for these shots around the greens. Now, I've talked about bounce before in our bunker videos, and you can check out one of those just up here. The bounce is when we're using the lower edge, the back edge of the sand wedge to glide through the sand, or in this case, the grass. Very effective through the grass as well. We're getting that trail edge of the sand wedge to glide through. It's lower than the leading edge, because the leading edge, when you hit those chunk chips and those stabs, that's when the leading edge is catching that grass. So by using the bounce, we can actually glide through the grass given the right conditions. And those conditions are softer ground, lusher grass, maybe even the rough or the semi-rough, or an uphill lie. It's very easy on an uphill lie to get stuck into the ground where that leading edge is catching the grass. Now it's a good idea to use that bounce to glide through, and we can actually hit the grass before the shot. The bounce is going to glide through that grass and give us that margin of error that we wouldn't normally have. It's a softer ground as well, very wet ground. Let's try it on this uphill lie here. Ball position slightly forward this time, and I don't have the weight forward. I'm not trying to get the shaft forward. I'm just going to use that bounce. Now you can see there that I've hit the grass before the ball. The bounce has glided through, no problem, good contact, good amount of spin, and good control over the shot. You can also use it in the semi-rough here. Again, lush grass, even you pop it down there in the grass. As long as you can use that bounce through the grass, then you're going to get some margin of error. Same sort of thing here, ball position slightly forward, use that bounce. Hit the grass well before the ball. And that's useful to know when you're in those soft and lush conditions. You can use the bounce to glide through. You don't have to strike it really perfectly. So what it really comes down to is having a look at the lie that you have and then deciding whether you need to use the bounce or not. So if it's firm, tight grass, and you decide that you want to hit the ball first, then you want to get that shaft forward, weight forward, and compress it. You're hitting ball first and then ground. Soft conditions, lush conditions, maybe in the semi-rough, uphill lie as well. You're not going to leave the weight forward. You're going to have more central. The ball position is going to be a little bit more forward, and the shaft vertical. That's going to get that bounce working through the grass. So you can see there are a couple of different methods of chipping there, and you really should, if you're keen about golf and really want to sharpen up your short game, then you should learn how to use both methods. Both methods are used on tour, and definitely you'll have a preference for one over the other. A lot of players like to be forward and really try to get a lot of the ball first on a lot of shots. And then other players will try to use the bounce on 90% of their shots. But the fact is that the lie should dictate and determine what type of shot you choose. So learn both, practice both. By all means, have a favorite, but you need to understand how the bounce works through the grass and what conditions are going to suit that type of shot when you're using the bounce, and what conditions are going to suit the ball first, shaft forward. Thanks very much for watching. If you're new to our channel, then please click that subscribe button, hit the little bell in the corner for notifications of new videos. Don't miss out on any of our videos. We bring out a new golf instruction video for you every week, and we keep it simple and help you to understand your game and how to improve. Are you the best golfer you can be?